Germany was collapsing when Hitler's men, desperate, inside a bunker in Poland, created something that could change the fate of the war. More than 100,000 prisoners and 100 scientists were sent to 10 concentration camps to build a mysterious bell. At first glance, it seemed harmless, but every gear hid a secret capable of breaking the laws of physics known at the time. And the most disturbing part is that some of that technology might still be hidden today. Inside, it was composed of cylinders spinning at inhuman speeds. But one of the strangest compounds was the liquid they were submerged in, zerum, a kind of irradiated red mercury capable of producing a plasma that, according to certain testimonies, seemed to alter gravity itself. Its designer, leader of the SS, had a clear goal in mind: to create an artifact that would guarantee Nazi supremacy. But the question is, what was the bell really for? Some said it was the ultimate weapon. Others claimed it manipulated forces that science could barely explain. When it was first discovered, it was thought to be just an energy storage project. But as more was investigated, rumors about anti-gravity began to emerge. Several reports, leaked decades later, suggested it could also have been an attempt to manipulate time. In the midst of the world conflict, this artifact was Hitler's last hope. However, when they were about to complete the project, the Third Reich fell and the bell disappeared. Until recently, there was no trace of those involved in this project. Some said they were executed to seal the secret forever. This mystery gained strength when a supposed Polish journalist found some declassified documents in which a Nazi general confessed to having executed 60 people linked to the project. But perhaps it lies hidden in some secret laboratory, waiting for someone to activate it. And it's not the only dormant enigma. In a silent vault at Yale University rests a book that not even the best cryptographers in the world have managed to decipher: the Voynich manuscript. It's real, and its existence has puzzled experts for more than a century, for several reasons. The first is that its 240 pages are written in a language that matches no known alphabet. There is no possible translation, there is no clear pattern, and to make matters worse, some pages have disappeared, as if someone had wanted to erase part of its history. But its illustrations are even more sinister. Plants that have never existed, creatures that look like aliens, celestial charts decorated with zodiac signs, naked women bathing in strange contraptions, and drawings that resemble medieval alchemical diagrams. A collection of images that, far from clarifying the mystery, only deepens it. The book appeared in 1912 in the hands of a merchant named Wilfrid Voynich, who swore it had belonged to Emperor Rudolf II of the Holy Roman Empire and to a 17th century Prague alchemist. Before that, its trail vanishes, as if it had appeared out of nowhere. Carbon dating places its origin in the early 1400s, but even modern science has not been able to decipher it. Some see it as a sophisticated code for medieval spies, others as an elaborate hoax impossible to unmask. It has even been suggested that it might be an invented language with an unknown purpose. But the most puzzling things, if it were just a fraud, how do we explain that neither artificial intelligence nor military cryptographers have managed to break it? The Black Stone of the Kaaba, in the heart of Mecca, protected by millions of pilgrims and centuries of tradition, lies a stone that, according to legend, fell from the sky. It is not a mere religious relic. For many, it is a direct link to the divine, and for others, a remnant of a past far older than Islam. They call it the Black Stone. It is embedded in the eastern corner of the Kaaba, a sanctuary that was already sacred long before Muhammad. According to tradition, the Prophet placed it there in the year 605, but its story actually begins much earlier. Islamic accounts claim that Adam received it as a guide after being expelled from paradise, and that it was originally white and radiant until the sins of humanity turned it black. Other texts describe it as a punished angel, transformed into stone for not preventing Adam from eating the forbidden fruit. Some believe it is a sacred meteorite, like those worshipped by ancient solar cults. In Imperial Rome, Emperor Heliogabalus transported a venerated meteorite from Syria to the capital as a symbol of the solar god El Gabal. After his death, it was returned and then disappeared. Some think it may have reappeared centuries later among the Arab tribes, becoming the Black Stone. Throughout its history, it has suffered looting, attempted destruction, and theft. In the year 930, a group called the Karmatians tore it from the Kaaba and held it hostage for 23 years. Other attacks tried to destroy it, and each recovered fragment was protected with a silver frame to keep it together. For believers, it is a tangible link to the sacred. For historians, an artifact whose story dates back to the dawn of civilization. The Holy Grail is perhaps the most sought-after relic in all of Western lost in history. In Christian tradition, it is identified as the cup used by Jesus at the Last Supper, and which Joseph of Arimathea is said to have used to collect his blood during the crucifixion. However, its literary history is more ambiguous. In its first appearance in a 12th century poem, it was not a cup, but a sacred tray or dish. It was not until the 13th century that it began to be associated with healing powers, spiritual enlightenment, and, for some, a secret lineage uniting Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Arthurian tradition describes it in multiple forms: cup, plate, or stone with healing virtues. It is said that Joseph of Arimathea brought it to Britain, hiding it in legendary places such as the Glastonbury Spring. Since then, knights, kings, and adventurers have tirelessly searched for this object, convinced that finding it would mean attaining divine power. Even in modern times, the myth of the Grail has attracted secret societies, explorers, and even the Nazis during World War II. Its trail is lost in history, but its legend remains intact, an eternal symbol of the quest for the sacred and humanity's desire to reach the unattainable. The Ring of Solomon is one of the most powerful relics in all ancient legends. Forged, according to tradition, in brass and iron, it bore the sacred name engraved by God himself, which granted it absolute power to command demons, control the winds, and communicate with animals. Legend says its jewel composition was no coincidence. One half ruled over benevolent spirits, the other over malevolent ones, allowing Solomon to command invisible armies and perform feats impossible even for the wisest of his time. In one of the most unsettling stories, a demon manages to steal it and usurps his throne. Stripped of all power, Solomon wanders as a common man until, in an unlikely twist, the ring reappears inside a fish caught by chance. With it, the king regains his throne and his dominion over what no other mortal could control. Its current whereabouts remain a mystery. Some claim it was lost with the king's remains. Others believe it lies hidden under the custody of secret hoarders. What is certain is that beyond legend, the Seal of Solomon remains the ultimate emblem of power over the impossible. The Staff of Moses is one of the most emblematic objects in both biblical and Quranic traditions, also known as the Rod of God. With it, Moses performed wonders that defied all explanation. He turned the rod into a serpent before Pharaoh, parted the waters of the Red Sea, made water spring from a rock in the middle of the desert, and unleashed signs during the plagues of Egypt. Its power lay not only in miracles, but in its role as a symbol of leadership and faith. In the battle against the Amalekites, as long as Moses held the staff high, Israel prevailed. When he lowered it, the enemy regained strength. It was a tangible reminder that victory depended on something greater than military might. Over the centuries, its whereabouts became uncertain. Some traditions claim that after the destruction of Solomon's temple in 587 BC, it was preserved by priests and passed down through generations. Other accounts say it reached Constantinople and later France. Today, some believe it is displayed in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, brought there by Sultan Selim I after conquering Egypt in 1517. For the faithful, it remains a reminder of divine power manifested in history. For historians, a relic whose legend has outlived entire empires. The Shroud of Turin is one of the most studied and debated religious objects in the world. It is a linen cloth over 4 meters long that shows the faint image of a man bearing signs of crucifixion, wounds on the head, nail marks on hands and feet, and a wound in the side, like the one described in the Gospels. Its first documented mention appears in the 14th century, but many believe its history dates back to the days following Jesus' death. According to tradition, the shroud was secretly carried from Jerusalem to Edessa, then to Constantinople, and finally to Turin. In 1988, carbon dating tests produced a shocking result. The fabric appeared to be medieval, classifying it as a forgery. However, critical experts argued that the tested samples came from a repaired section centuries later, contaminated and unrepresentative of the original cloth. Other studies detected pollen and fibers consistent with 1st century Palestine, fueling the hypothesis of its authenticity. Scientists, theologians, and skeptics continue to clash in a debate that seems endless. Meanwhile, the shroud remains safeguarded in Turin's cathedral, standing as one of the most powerful symbols of Christian faith. The Ark of Gabriel is one of the most unsettling modern legends associated associated with the Archangel Gabriel, a sacred figure in both Christianity and Islam. According to a medieval manuscript known as Gabriel's Instructions to Muhammad, the Archangel delivered to the Prophet a box of immense power. It was forbidden to open it until Judgment Day. The legend claims the box was buried beneath the Great Mosque of Mecca, hidden for centuries, until, in 2015, construction work supposedly uncovered it by accident. That discovery, they say, unleashed a burst of plasma energy that coincided with a crane accident, and shortly after, with a deadly stampede during the annual pilgrimage. Authorities attributed the events to natural causes and overcrowding, but for many, it was the first sign that something forbidden had been unearthed. It is said that after these incidents, Russian religious leaders and Pope Francis discussed how to move the object safely. Rumor has it that in December 2015, the Ark was sent to Antarctica and delivered to a Russian Orthodox church for safekeeping. Some believe it was not the Ark of Gabriel, but a much darker artifact, what they call the Ark of Satan. The Ark of the Covenant goes even further. It is one of the most enigmatic and powerful sacred objects in biblical history. Yet, it seems its location might actually be known. Described as a wooden chest covered in gold, it contained the tablets of the Ten Commandments given to Moses and was believed to possess divine power, capable of opening rivers, toppling walls, and serving as a sacred weapon. During the 40 years the Israelites wandered in the desert, only the priests were allowed to carry it, and mishandling it could bring death. Its trail was lost before the Babylonian sack of Jerusalem in 587 BC. Some traditions say Jeremiah hid it in the Judean desert, others that it was buried beneath the Temple Mount in chambers built by Solomon. There are also theories linking its transport to the Knights Templar, or even to mysterious Nazi expeditions to Antarctica. In Ethiopia, the Church of St. Mary of Zion in Axum claims to guard it. Only one monk is allowed to see it, and it is said that those who watch over it do not live for many years. The Spear of Destiny is believed to be the weapon with which a Roman soldier pierced the side of Jesus during the crucifixion. Although the Bible barely mentions it, its later history is shrouded in mystery and power. Over the centuries, various relics have claimed to be the true spear, traveling across Europe and changing hands amid wars, looting, and conquests. One version preserved in Constantinople was brought to the West by Crusaders, passing through the hands of figures such as Saint Louis, King of France. After the French Revolution, many relics were lost. In 1938, Adolf Hitler became obsessed with the Spear of Destiny, convinced it would grant him absolute power. When Germany annexed Austria, he seized the version kept in Vienna and placed it under Nazi custody. At the end of World War II, the spear disappeared in a secret hideout, but was later recovered by Allied forces and returned to Austria. The version currently displayed in the Imperial Treasury of Vienna dates, according to records, back to Emperor Charlemagne, who supposedly carried it on campaign. Its authenticity, however, remains in doubt. Amid beliefs, legends, and historical obsessions, the Spear of Destiny has maintained its reputation as the sacred weapon that, according to tradition, grants power over the world to whoever possesses it. The Chintamani stone is known in Eastern traditions as the jewel that grants wishes, a mystical relic comparable to the Philosopher's Stone of the West. It is said to heal diseases, bestow divine wisdom, and materialize one's deepest desires. In Hinduism, it is associated with deities such as Vishnu and Ganesha, and is sometimes depicted on the foreheads of mythical creatures like the Naga king Mani or the sea monster Makara. In Mahayana Buddhism, the Chintamani stone is in the hands of divine beings and often appears atop the wind horse on Tibetan prayer flags. It is said that whoever recites its mantra attains a level of enlightenment close to that of the Buddha. Tibetan legends claim that this stone came from the sky, hidden in a chest fallen from the mythical kingdom of Shambhala, concealed in the Himalayas. Its influence has crossed cultural boundaries. In Japan, the goddess Lakshmi is often depicted holding it. In Bali, the region of Kintamani takes its name directly from this legendary jewel. Through generations, the Chintamani stone has been seen as a symbol of supreme wisdom, celestial power, and eternal hope. A treasure as coveted as it is unattainable. The imperial seal of China was the supreme emblem of power in the ancient empire. Carved from sacred Hishubi jade in 221 BC, it symbolized the mandate of heaven, the divine authority that legitimized the ruler. Its creation was ordered by Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor to unify China under the Qin dynasty. In Chinese culture, jade was not merely a precious stone. It represented immortality, inner purity, and a spiritual connection with with the universe. It was said that drinking dissolved jade could grant eternal life, and possessing the imperial seal meant holding the unquestionable right to rule. The seal passed from a dynasty to dynasty, and with each transition, its symbolic value grew. Whoever possessed it was considered the legitimate emperor of China, but as empires fell, its whereabouts became uncertain. By the 10th century, the imperial seal was lost forever, and it was never recovered. Today, its memory lives on as the ultimate representation of Chinese imperial authority, and as one of the most coveted lost treasures in history. Don't forget to support this type of content by subscribing and watching this other very curious video that you will love.